Okay, so we're back, and I'm gonna now shift the focus to my co-founder and colleague, Lawrence. And Lawrence, I really do have to thank you because I know coming here on a weekend is a 2 or 3 hour ordeal with you and from Manhattan. And Lawrence was saying, why can't we just be in Manhattan? Because in order to better serve the community, we've got to be in the community. And it does change how you deal with the community when you're in it. Our goal is eventually to have hubs like these, centers like these in various communities. And so we have a challenge. You have the biggest challenge of all. I mean, I can talk and I can train. I've been doing that via video for a while. But you have the challenge of taking care of the technical and the quality control aspects on video and doing that long distance. You know, we all can do everything, but we cannot all do them and do them effectively to make a program. So Lawrence has simply emerged as the person who's going to lead on that end. And how do you plan? So I'm going to let you speak. I'll just throw in questions later. How do you plan? What's your plans in terms of technical and quality issues? And how, on a bigger note, rough ideas on how you plan to do that via virtual access.
Okay. I'd like to just break it down into really quickly. It's technical in terms of the garment construction, garment production, and then technical also, I like the computer to help keep everything organized, either in a flow chart, an Excel chart, even just jotting them down. In the garment, or if you're making a product, it's always first product development. And in fashion, it's sampling or pre-sampling. I'm going to teach courses. I try to keep them industry standard because as you're growing and you might need to approach a factory, you should be speaking their language to begin with. Because if you go in and say, I need a pattern, they're going to look at you and go, I'm not a design studio. Pattern is what's printed on fabric. I just confused myself.
So what would I say then?
I'm sorry. I just confused myself.
Go ahead.
No. Can I start over again?
I can
Let me
just
start over
continue.
again.
I'll clip it out. Yeah.
No. You walk into a factory, and you say, I want this pattern in this fabric, in this shirt, and you're talking about the print. When in actuality, in the industry, a pattern is what's used to cut out the fabric. It's the piece that's followed for that one
The sloper?
piece.
Is that
No.
what's called, sloper?
No. A sloper is actually the basic nude fit of your customer, which might be you, or it might be a private customer, or it might be your ideal customer. Mm-hmm. And with sloper, I just want to say that the sloper is the nude body, and think about maybe your 16-year-old niece, your 25-year-old assistant, and your grandmother. 3 completely different slopers here in New York. If we move them to LA, the same bodies have totally changed again, thanks to cosmetic surgery and adding parts of the body, taking away parts. Mm-hmm. So you need to know who you're selling to and what their body type is to develop the sloper, which I'm going to teach you how to develop a sloper. That way then you can redevelop it for different customers or different markets. Because one thing I do want to just throw out is with the Latin community, the largest body shape and body proportion is petite. Yet not that many companies do petite in this country. I just figured I'd throw that out. Anyway.
And within the African American, we do a component that we call it style canvassing that we show them. We have so many different body shapes based on your African ethnic background.
And honestly, it's not being racist. It's being honest with your customer.
Absolutely.
In large companies, don't just design and produce for the world. North America is different than Central, is different than South. Absolutely. Europe is North and South. Think of an Italian, a Spanish person, and think of a German. Hello, different animals. And then there's Asia. which
Which is
is
completely different.
Oriental
Completely
or
different market.
Arabic.
Right.
And then there's Africa, and even Africa is divided into 4 components on body shape.
Sub-Saharan.
So a large company understands this. They put it in practice. The same fabric, same style, slightly modified, because if you're shrinking the body's length, you may not be able to have 12 buttons.
And that's why we're in Brooklyn, because there's somebody from every part of the world in Brooklyn. Now you understand. We can find them. Okay, so we're gonna, because that has been one of the challenges. Yes, you have a great sketch, you have a great design on a hanger, fit. And so what other programs will you be doing?
So with this, once we develop the sloper, I want to show you how to develop blocks. Blocks are basic fits, because the slipper is nude. And if you're doing shirts and pants and somebody asks you to do a bathing suit, you need to go back to your sloper and readjust it, because it should fit tightly and hold everything in place. A block could be a basic, like a very loose blouse. It's a loose block that all your loose blouses and loose jackets come from.
And blocks are, each company or brand should have their blocks and then build on their blocks. That is what cuts cost.
Yes, and even each season the block gets changed, tweaked sometimes for the fit, for the look. Why are the hips wider? Why are the legs narrower? These blocks keep it standard. And from there, from the block, you pull your styles. So after that, I teach pattern making from the blocks and from slopers. That way everything fits accordingly, or you change the fit accordingly when you're making the pattern.
Now, these workshops and classes will be free to those who are members, but they'll be available at a cost to non-members.
Yes.
Globally.
Yes, and I teach them just like everybody else in every college, except I don't post step 1, step 2, step 3. I'll say it and I do it, because we all learn differently. Some people have to hear it, some have to see it, some have to write it. So if you have to write it, you watch, hear, pause, you write.
Use of YouTube.
Yes.
They're like looking at video, but it's better quality than YouTube, because he knows that's one of my pet peeves. Now, we're also going to tackle print.
Well,
I'm going to do ethnic design. We're going to do print, as in
yes, we're doing what she calls print surface design.
surface design.
And we're also going to discuss in form even surface design, but also colorways. Because if a print is pre-existing, that means somewhere on this planet, the mill has the screens and the ability to print it. If you have enough that you can buy enough in quantity, you're not paying to produce the screens. You just need to repitch it in a colorway and order in those colors. That way, it's their screen, their print, but you've done it in your way for your customer.
And because of the multi-ethnicity and the multicultural, we're doing colorways in terms of the consumer preference. So those are not things you learn. Standard industries about what 7th Avenue says is on start. We're doing a much more creative approach to the traditional. And there is the sewing workshops, the production.
Yes, well, okay. Not only do you learn pattern making, I'm also going to show you how to sew. A good designer, I'm not saying needs to be a tailor, but from my experience, when I was really young, I was in charge of a very large company, and I went in, and they looked at me because I didn't speak English very well. I was 22, in charge of millions and millions of dollars, and their favorite line is, "Oh, it can't be done. It's impossible." When I grabbed the sample out of the owner's hand, sat down at the machine, and I mumbled to myself, "It can't be done, washer," and I made this U double welt pocket. Yes, it's not easy, but I said, there, it can't be done. Who am I? Did I just walk on water to get here? No.
So for a designer, and there are many instances that we know that you have to be able, my best college advice was you better know how to be on that machine. So you have to be able to know to communicate.
Yes, even if you don't want to sit, you tell them, well, attack it. It looks like a patch pocket, but attack it like a collar.
And to know when it's well done.
Yes. And to tell them, I don't like this, the sewing is better. Or look and say, oh, the pattern needs to be fixed. The pattern is wrong. Because the sewer will always say the pattern is wrong. The pattern maker will always say the sewing is wrong.
So you are, as a boss of this company, you need to be able to dictate, to decide, to analyze, and say X, Y, Z. So we picked that up based on a session 1 and 2 that was a need, and he's going to take responsibility of that. Now we also I do take on the 3D development, pillowcases, toys, because those are simpler, quicker that people want to develop, and we're working with food and things.
See,
also.
the one thing we will also offer these classes in-house, because online, yes, you learn at your speed, you put me on pause. But in the classroom, you see you are the worst sewer on the planet. You're good, and you're having problems with it. That means the actual assignment is really tough.
Yeah.
But you learn from each other. So you made a bad mistake in the sewing. You made a bad mistake in the cutting, and they both look alike.
And I want to add something, because this is an unusual semester, because we're hot up on the heads of holiday when you really test your items.
Absolutely.
So we're going to be shifting straight into production. I've started speaking to people who produce, so we do have production. Both Lawrence and I will be speaking to people we know who do production. But we're also going to be tackling the production issue. So if you want to start production, print, etc., come on also and be part of the team.
Yes, because when you go into production, you need to have your basic patterns graded, which means that
Right.
one pattern that was made in a size 6 needs to go from a 00 to a size 22. So it goes out and comes back, and you need to look at it and this armhole looks wrong. And I'm going to cut it in a 20 and check to make sure it's right or wrong. Also, with the computer, with our Excel sheet, we need to cost the garment. And I'd like you to learn to cost the garment before you make it. Rough ball. Once you start sewing, you know how many yards it takes to make something. Sit down and roughly, okay, I spent $30 for this beautiful fabric. I'm making a coat. It takes 3 yards. So I'm at $90 just for the fabric that I pay for it.
Costing
The labor,
and pricing. Let me
the
clarify.
buttons, yes. And you're looking at the cost, and then you have to build in your margins, which I'll let you talk, and then look at and be honest about what you designed, what you're planning on making. If I use this fabric to make this jacket, this coat, will the customer pay me $700?
And I must put in that what sets this apart is that each business will be doing it based on because everybody will have a different model. So within here, when you're part of the incubator, you're actually building out your business plan and the various aspects of it with guidance.
Yes.
When you're not part of either a virtual paid incubator project or our in-house incubator, that's not something you're gonna get. And the closest price for just a portion of this, we'll be doing sourcing and everything from concept to consumer. It's the least we've seen is a $3,000 course online that has none of the hands-on, and that they don't have the business development, etc. They don't have the finances, and that is because it's a lot of work.
And I would think even in teaching as
It's
a
work.
student, no, but even in teaching as a student, they would pay pretty much more than that.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Just
if you
go
were just
online and look at it,
learning,
yeah.
if you were just learning about pattern making,
Yes.
sloper, and what you just described.
But also in school, they do everything on muslin or on a fabric that you buy. They're not being taught as you're making the pattern. As we cost, we're looking at your customer,
Right.
your collection, your fabric selection,
It's
the
it's
cost.
like having
It's almost like a full immersion.
it's a consultant. You literally have
Yes.
a team of consultants working with you because it's specific to your needs. And we cut out the crap, we go to what
Yeah.
you need for your business. That does not mean you're going to learn to do a 3-tier X, Y, or Z, because that's not what you need to learn. You're going to learn the basics. You're going to learn how this is what I'm doing. How do I judge? Is that crotch depth right? Is this fitted?
Yeah.
How do I
And
alter?
also in the process with all of us, with everything, you'll see and we'll tell you, oh wow, your strong point is pattern production, garment development, which means, okay, you can take that on, but you need to find freelancers or other people to help you in your weaknesses.
to complement.
Complement and compensate.
The idea for us, when we spoke, we won't announce it yet. We have some fun aspects that will really, because we realize that you've got to want to stay in this. You've got to want to be.
Now, anybody that knows me knows I'm the first person to get bored with
Yeah.
stuff. Food, people, rock concerts. I'm there and okay, third song that sounds the same, huh? I need excitement. I want to be challenged.
Yeah.
And we're gonna keep it that you're learning, and the best way to learn is when you're having fun. If I'm sitting there with a whip over you, I won't be happy, and you won't be happy.
And you get to sell. So what we do is we first start with what you need to sell. So basics, so that you're selling for the holidays. And then after that, we broaden. But once you've seen what's sold, we then broaden the line and you develop a full line. Now, it's not, there's so many different aspects of being in business. It's not just making the line. So we also cover all of that. But these are, and those will have different options. So you may want to do window styling. You may want to be a stylist. We have someone who's coming in with food. So basically, the concepts of production really do flow through.
And even though I may not want to be, I'm a designer. I never use stylists because I know how to style her. I can get my idea across. It's also a language thing that if I know how to talk to a stylist, they give me. They will in turn give me what I expect. But also, stylist knows how to talk to makeup artists, models, hair people, lighting, music. It's these little things become these massive balls of wax. That if you don't watch out, they'll run you over.
Okay, so, and that's just a gist of where we're going and what will set us apart. I mean, that's in this one segment. We'll touch briefly on 3D printing, digital printing, so haptics, so that we bring in a fashion tech so that you understand it, soft circuitry, solar inks, you understand the possibilities.
It's where the industry is.
Yeah.
It's not going there. It is there.
And it's also, many of you want to do blanks. What you don't understand, the t-shirt apparel people come. Please come. I'm begging you, come. Because blanks are simply a sloper,
A
block
basic block of boredom,
that you can create on your own.
and it's been made over and over and over and over.
And so many of you are going to blocks that are not working with your customer.
I just want to throw out with the blocks ethics. We all can't stand what happened in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
The factory fire, the building collapse, people getting locked in. Well, where do you think blocks are made from? For $3 for a T-shirt, you can't pay more than 25 cents for labor because the $3 was imported and doubled to sell for $3, which means it came here for $1.25.
Yeah.
So it left there for $1.
And they don't.
And there's no quality. And okay, the three of us have 3 T-shirts, and we all compete. Oh, I don't know who that is. That's not Tammy.
I'll edit it. So, right.
So we all compete. But if we all have the same body, the same quality, the same T-shirt, it's even worse. We're directly at our throats.
Okay, so we're about to close. There's a lot more. When you come in, those are just the rough ideas. When you come in to speak to us, and we will be doing phone interviews in the next 2 weeks, video and phone interviews. You will hear fully, and we'll really tell you what it is. We're going to close the section off and come back with Yasmin, who is new to the team, and will add her portion. Thank you.